Hello, my name is Tomoyuki Kajiwara. I am a student at長岡University of Technology in Japan. Today, I would like to talk about our study. The title of presentation is Noun Paraphrasing based on a variety of contexts. We propose a method to paraphrase nouns in consideration of the context. We experimented with Japanese, but you can also apply our method to other languages. Our approach has two characteristics. First, we propose a number of differences based method. It can paraphrase more appropriately than the co-occurrence frequency based method. Next, we can paraphrase depending on the context. For example, reduce the burdens on the back. I think about paraphrase of burdens. In our number of differences based method, output, load, stress, damage, exhaustion, tense, etc. On the other hand, co-occurrence frequency based method, output, cost, expense, actual cost, etc. All of which are money related. First, I am explaining about lexical paraphrasing as a background of our study. Lexical paraphrasing is also called lexical substitution. This means the different linguistic representation showing the same meaning. For example, there are two representations of teacher and instructor to such person. Lexical paraphrasing has a lot of applications. For example, lexical paraphrasing is applied to reading assistance as lexical simplification. Never judge people by external appearance. We replace the external in this sentence with simpler outside. So we will be able to improve the readability. For another examples, lexical paraphrasing is applied to machine translation as pre-editing. Both of these Japanese sentences are light Japanese. And these sentences represent same meaning. This Japanese sentence is translated into a bad English, but this Japanese sentence is translated into a good English sentence. The book is under the papers. Lexical paraphrasing is useful for people who want to read a difficult text and many NLP tasks. But it is a difficult task. It changes depending on the context, whether paraphrasing is possible or impossible. For example, for someone to shoulder a huge increase in his financial burdens, in this sentence, we can replace burdens with costs, but cannot replace it with loads. However, reduce the burdens on the back. In this sentence, we can replace burdens with loads, but cannot replace burdens with costs. I explain a summary of our approach to solve such a context-dependent problem. First, we extract nouns used in the same context as a input sentence. Next, these nouns are ranked by the similarity of the context with the original target word access. Finally, we output a sentence, look for the way to the airport, using a noun of the first rank way. In the first step, we can generate a proper sentence by extracting nouns used in the same context as the input sentence. In the next step, we can select a suitable paraphrase by ranking these candidate nouns. Then, I explain the proposed method in detail. We propose a method to paraphrase nouns in consideration of the context. First, we extract candidate words used in the same context as the input sentence. In order to generate a proper sentence, we want to extract candidate words used in the same context as the input sentence. Since the probability of occurrence of high order n-gram is low, words used in the completely same context is hardly found. On the basis of an object word access, an input sentence is divided into pre-context and post-context. We extract nouns such as restaurant, market, purpose, transfer, fee, and way, using in the pre-context from a corpus. Similarly, we also extract nouns such as transfer, fee, way, bus, transportation, and delivery, used in the post-context from the corpus. Words appear in common with both pre-context and post-context has a high possibility can be used in the context of an input sentence. By paraphrase access into these candidate words, we can generate a proper sentence. Next, we calculate the similarity between the target word original and candidate words. Here, we use two indexes. The number of differences of the context in the candidate words. The number of differences of the common context between the original and the candidate word. In accordance with distributional hypothesis, we think meanings are also similar when contexts of words are similar. And we set up two hypotheses between the number of difference of context and paraphrasability. First, the larger number of differences of the common context between the original and the candidate word, the larger paraphrasability. Next, the larger number of differences of the context in the candidate word, the smaller paraphrasability. Based on these hypotheses, we formulate a similarity between nouns in this way. In this formula, common A and B means the number of differences of the common context between noun A and noun B. And difference A means the number of differences of the context in noun A. Then N means the total number of differences of the context. In this formula, the larger number of differences of the common context, the larger similarity between the target word original and the candidate word, and the smaller number of differences of the context in the candidate word, the larger similarity. In addition, the larger similarity, the larger paraphrasability between these nouns. We were inspired by the TF-IDF. As you know, in the TF-IDF, the larger number of occurrences of the words, the more characteristic words, and the smaller number of documents occurring the words, the more characteristic words. Similarly, we have considered as follows. The larger number of differences of the common context, the larger number of the similarity of how to use with words. Based on the distributional hypothesis, the more how to use with the words, the larger similarity between the words. In addition, the smaller number of differences of the candidate words context, the more characteristic candidate words. A general word that is not characteristic appear in more context. A general word is filtered by the back term. We propose employing the number of difference of the context, not the occurrence as how to use the word. Finally, we select a candidate word with the maximum similarity as the paraphrase. In the extraction step, our method can generate a proper sentence based on the common context. And in the selection step, our method can select a suitable paraphrase based on the number of differences of context. Next, I will compare with the co-occurrence frequency based method and pointwise mutual information method experimentally. Martin et al. And Bhagat and Ravichandran, both of these methods generate a feature vector from context of the target word original. They calculate a cosine similarity between the feature vectors. They select a word with the maximum similarity as the paraphrase. Their approach is different in how to make the feature vector. Martin et al. Generates feature vector using co-occurrence frequency. On the other hand, Bhagat and Ravichandran generates feature vector using pointwise mutual information. Then the experimental explanation is begun. In this experiment, we paraphrase for Japanese nouns. However, this approach is language independent, so it is just applicable to other languages. Next, a context is defined. We define the context words in the phrase which is dependency to a noun as context. For example, look for the access to the airport. When I focus on the noun access, a context is to of the verb look and noun airport. We use Web Japanese N-gram for extract candidate words. This is Japanese word N-grams. And we use only 7 grams data. Each N-gram appears more than 20 times in the web. We use 200 sentences in the following 1.3 million sentences. We use only sentence where the head is a noun and the tail is the original form of verb. In Japanese, a verb appears in the end of sentence in many cases. And we use Kyoto University case frame for calculate similarity between nouns. This is Japanese predicate and Japanese noun pairs from the web. It is contained 34,000 predicates and 824,000 nouns. We use all this data. We define these predicates as context and we calculate similarity between nouns. This is the number of paraphrasable nouns to the first place of similarity. Blue bars are our proposal method, and red bars are Merton's occurrence frequency based method, and green bars are Bagat and Ravichandran's pointwise mutual information based method. Each method paraphrases 200 nouns in the context from Web Japanese n-gram of 7 grams. In Merton's method, Merton's co-occurrence frequency based method, high frequency words have a bad influence. And in Bagat's pointwise mutual information method, postfix words have a bad influence. On the other hand, our proposal method is robust because we don't depend on the word frequency. This is a relationship by rank of similarity and number of paraphrasable nouns. 10 paraphrase candidates are shown to evaluators in descending order of similarity rank. Evaluators answer the rank that the paraphrasable word appears for the first time. In Merton's co-occurrence frequency-based method and Bagat's pointwise mutual information method, there are few differences in the number of paraphrasable words between each rank. The similarity of the paraphrasable words are high. However, it changes depending on the context, whether paraphrase is possible or impossible. Therefore, a word appears in the first place or appear in the second place. On the other hand, in our proposal method, many of paraphrasable words appear with rank 1. Our proposal method is considering a context of input sentence, so it can output a paraphrasable word according to the context. Finally, I introduce examples of the paraphrasing in consideration of context. For example, assigning a maximum penalty of $N. Bagat's pointwise mutual information-based method replaces penalty with imprisonment and pecuniary penalties. The word penalty of the second place is appropriate paraphrase, but cannot use the word imprisonment of the first place in this context. On the other hand, our method replaces penalty with paying penalty and an administrative penalty, etc. These words can be used in the context, and the bad paraphrase, imprisonment, does not appear as a candidate. Or another example, reduce the burdens on the back. Bagat's method replaces burdens with cost and express and actual cost. It is all of money-related words. Any words listed within the top 10 are not appropriate paraphrasing. On the other hand, our method replaces burdens with load, stress, damage, etc., all of which are appropriate to paraphrase in the context. Conclusion. We propose a method to paraphrase nouns in consideration of the context. We experimented with Japanese, but you can also apply our method to other languages. Our approach has two features. First, we propose a number of difference-based method. It can paraphrase more appropriately than the co-occurrence frequency-based method and pointwise mutual information-based method. In addition, we can paraphrase depending on the context. Thank you for your attention.